Expo Dubai will be one of the first major global events following the pandemic. And so it's very important to see how, as architects, designers, planners, engineers, we can help kind of design for the new normal. For instance, just one example, our pavilion in Dubai, the national Italian pavilion, is not close to the environment, is not sealed, is actually open to air and it's porous. And that's very good for two reasons. First of all, it means we need to use much less energy. We don't need to air condition it, for instance. But the other thing is going to be much healthier in terms of protection from the virus and avoiding transmission as air constantly changes and goes from outside to the inside. Again, another way of how we can help design together the new normal in Dubai.
The Expo 2020 will hopefully represent a new normality. Architecture and urban space is the living space of people. We can and must design it so that it is healthy, safe, and made for the benefit of humans, but also livable, beautiful, and inspiring. Visitors to the Swiss pavilion will be able to experience a unique, typical Swiss experience, a hike through real fog, natural fog, up to the mountaintop with a view over the fog.
Architecture and engineering can be used to, so to say, save the world. In this sense, I think the pavilions are a bit like messengers. They are telling stories, and it's not just the architecture, but it's also the content. So it is about the people and the exhibitions which are inside the pavilion. So all of this is telling the story of, for instance, how and why Finland has been recently the happiest country in the world. Also, the heart of the pavilion is a very spacious and high space. So that, in that sense, hopefully it will become a place in Dubai where it is very natural and nice to meet people face to face.
Public space is very important. I think it's particularly important today when we are spending more and more time in virtual space. But public space is a space of serendipity. And that's why public space is at the core of the Italian pavilion in Dubai. Outside the pavilion, as you move into the pavilion, in some of the main squares inside the pavilion, is really something that we hope can help be an antidote to actually this life that we've experienced since the beginning of the pandemic with too much digital.
Public and private spaces are the places where real life takes place. We can design these architectures in such a way that they are CO2 neutral in construction and operation, climate adaptive, and culturally impacting. We call this clever architecture at OOS.
Innovations. Finland Pavilion is a good example that it's a very simple building. I think Finnish people like to think that innovations are the best when they are simple but yet intelligent. Inside Finland Pavilion is that we try to show a holistic view to sustainability, that it ranges from lifestyle issues to city planning to technology to culture and well-being. And one practical example of this is that the Finland Pavilion is white on the surface, so that will help to keep the building cool in the hot sun of Dubai.
I believe that circularity should be at the core of every project we do today. Circularity is what nature does and what we should also include in all the designs we do. And well, the Italian pavilion at Expo Dubai is no exception. So all the materials are materials that are being recycled, can be recyclable, can be composted. So anyway, all of this has been studied from a circular approach.
The original design of the Swiss pavilion envisaged a lightweight tent-like structure made of wood and textiles. Unfortunately, building regulations did not allow this. As architects, we absolutely must also work towards ensuring that circular construction methods are also possible under building laws. Nevertheless, the material used in the Swiss pavilion will be recycled. Where possible, materials from an upcycling process were used, and the weight of the building was reduced to an absolute minimum. This too is in the spirit of the credo clever architecture.
Finland was the first country in the world to create a national roadmap or circular economy in 2016 in the Finland Pavilion, and they will be recycled and returned to use after the Expo. Only stone was brought from Finland, but that is a natural material, so it can be returned to Dubai nature as well. One of the key messages of Finland Pavilion is to build light. So that is why the structure of the pavilion is as light as possible, and it is a steel structure.